What moment made it clear you weren't the favorite child? I discovered it when I woke up in the hospital after emergency surgery and found my parents arguing about how my accident had traumatized my brother. I was 16 and playing in the championship basketball game for our high school. My whole family was in the bleachers watching, including my 14-year-old brother, who'd never shown much interest in sports. During the fourth quarter, I went up for a rebound and came down wrong. I heard the snap before I felt the pain. My leg was bent at an angle that made people in the stands scream. The gym went silent except for my brother yelling from the bleachers. He was crying and covering his eyes, refusing to look at me lying on the court. My parents immediately rushed to comfort him while I writhed in pain waiting for the ambulance. I could hear my mom saying, "Don't look, honey, let's go outside. You don't need to see this." My dad was rubbing my brother's back and telling him everything would be okay. The paramedics had to work around my family, comforting my brother instead of focusing on me. When they loaded me into the ambulance, my parents rode with us, but spent the entire trip calming my brother's panic attack. During my emergency surgery to repair my shattered leg, my parents stayed in the waiting room dealing with my brother's emotional breakdown about seeing the injury. He couldn't stop crying and kept saying the sight of my broken leg would give him nightmares. When I woke up from surgery, the first thing I heard was my parents discussing whether they needed to get my brother therapy to deal with witnessing my accident, not asking how I was feeling or if I was in pain. He's never seen anything that traumatic before. My mom whispered to my dad, "This could affect him for years. We need to find him a counselor immediately." My dad nodded. Poor kid. He's too sensitive to handle seeing his brother get hurt like that. We should have taken him out before it happened. I cleared my throat to let them know I was awake. They turned to me briefly, asked if I needed water, then went right back to planning my brother's trauma recovery from watching my injury. The doctor came in to explain that I'd need months of physical therapy and might never play basketball again. My parents barely listened because my brother started crying again in the hallway about having flashbacks. Over the next few weeks, the pattern became crystal clear. My brother got a therapist to deal with the emotional trauma of seeing my accident. I got basic physical therapy that insurance barely covered. When my brother had nightmares about my injury, my parents let him sleep in their room and bought him special anxiety medication. When I had nightmares about never walking normally again, they told me to think positive thoughts. My brother got excused from school activities that reminded him of sports because they triggered his anxiety about my accident. I had to figure out how to navigate school on crutches while keeping up with all my regular classes. Family conversations revolved around helping my brother process his feelings about witnessing trauma. Nobody asked how I felt about actually experiencing the trauma of having my leg destroyed. When I finally returned to school after 2 months, my brother got a special assembly about supporting family members through difficult times. I got behind in all my classes because nobody had arranged for tutoring during my recovery. The college basketball scouts who'd been interested in me disappeared completely. My athletic scholarship opportunities vanished overnight. My parents' response was that at least my brother had learned valuable lessons about resilience from watching me handle adversity. During my graduation, I walked across the stage with a permanent limp. My parents spent the ceremony comforting my brother, who was having anxiety about being in the same gym where he'd witnessed my accident 2 years earlier. I got accepted to college on academic merit alone since my sports career was over. My parents used my college fund to pay for my brother's ongoing therapy and anxiety treatment. Now I'm 25 and live across the country. My brother is 23 and still in therapy dealing with the trauma of watching me get hurt in high school. My parents call me twice a year to ask if I can help pay for his treatment because seeing me get injured has affected his entire adult life. They've never once asked about my leg or how I'm managing the chronic pain from my injury.